Hi, I'm Sora Sullivan.
And I'm Saffron.
And welcome to Strangers in Fiction. Oh my god, we are both struggling right now. Okay, let's do it.
This is gonna be fine.
Yes.
I think we have this like weird haze between us where you need some sleep and I need to feel well again. And
yes.
That means that this will be fantastic.
Yes. It's gonna be so good.
It will be. I have a feeling it's going to have the same air as an episode of The Mighty Boosh, and I'm fine with that.
I have no idea what that is, but it sounds awesome.
What? Okay, that needs to change immediately.
Okay, alright.
That is something that you're either going to hate or love. I have a strong feeling that you'll love it, because it's like a nonsensical comedy with Julian Barrett and Noel Fielding, and I think it started off as a radio show, and then became a TV show. And they basically just go on adventures together. And I think the first season is set in, like, they run a shop. Oh no, they're in a zoo. They work at a zoo, and some of the animals talk and some of them don't. And then one of the episodes, one of them has to, like, box with a kangaroo. The whole thing is so silly, and they have good songs in it as well.
It's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
It's
okay,
so cool,
yeah, that's insane. Why didn't I know about this?
I don't know, because if anyone in my life in this area of the world was going to know about it, I thought it was going to be you.
Okay.
So
I failed you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We'll fix it, and I'll send you some references. And you'll either say, "Saf, that was a fucking waste of my life," or you'll go, "Where has this been all my life? I've wasted the time before."
Awesome.
Oh, anyway. I'm not sponsored by The Mighty Boosh, I just grew up watching it.
Okay.
Anyway, so how have you been this past however long it's been since we've last spoken to one another?
Well, I think it's been 2 weeks since we recorded an episode, right?
No way, really?
No? Yeah,
yeah,
right?
Probably.
Probably, I think so, yeah, because, like... my concept of time is just completely fucked.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
No. So yeah, I've been existing. I've been doing some writing. I've been struggling with sleep. I have insomnia, as we have discussed.
Yes.
I have meds. I take them. Sometimes they help. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes I don't take them. Sometimes I just am not ready to let go of the day until it has been 2 days.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool.
But, I've been doing a lot of writing, a lot of figuring out new aspects of my process that I didn't know before. So that's cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Do you find that as you stay awake longer and longer that you lose a grip on reality, but then you open up some artistic prowess?
Oh my god, yes. I become so unhinged.
I love that.
At about, like, hour 20, it's just like, fuck everything. Nonsense. It's fine. This is great. I'm having fun. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense. This line is perfect. Yeah.
Does Rested Sora look back at it and go, fucking hell?
Rested Sora hasn't done that yet, but
does Rested Sora actually exist?
Not yet. Not this time. That is a future Sora that does not yet exist. It is a theoretical Sora.
You might have to just write her. Like, just create her in fiction, and then she'll exist somewhere.
Oh my god, no, you're breaking my brain, don't do that.
Restception?
This is too much. We're 5 minutes in and nobody knows what we're talking about yet. So how have you been?
I've been sick as fuck, honestly. As I said earlier, before the recording, so I didn't need to say that. Nobody would have known. I have been sick as a Victorian child. Imagine just pasty, like, back of the hand over the forehead.
Oh.
Just a lot of me making that sound. Like, oh, I feel so terrible. Yeah, so I've just been really fucking whiny is what I'm trying to say. And my poor husband caught the same thing as me, and he's
Oh
having to be a
no.
trooper because I have become a baby. I am a baby woman. A 250-pound baby woman. Taking up far too much space. I also didn't shower today, and I'm so glad that this doesn't have smell-o-vision. And that we are doing this audio only today because I look like a bog witch, which normally is very cool, but not when you're ill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, on purpose bog witch is fine.
Yeah.
But like when you're just having that bad a time, bog witch is not fun.
Just wrecked.
Yeah.
Just absolutely wrecked. But other than that, I've been fine.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry you're not doing well. That super sucks.
That's okay. That's okay. I just needed my space to whine about it. But other than that, I've been fairly productive. I put out some personalised written interviews for authors that are featured on the website. The idea is that these written interviews are to sort of enhance the features because at the moment it's got really basic information on it.
Mm-hmm.
This is for idiosyncrasy. Really good idea. Thank you. And it's just a way to... It's optional. Just a way to sort of give people more of an insight into the person that they might take a chance on in terms of reading a book. So it's got a couple of generic questions just to sort of get the ball rolling, and then like 5 personalised ones based on... Basically, I just do a bit of research about each person. I have a look at other interviews they've had, if they've done any. I look at their sort of reviews and their books. I don't necessarily read everybody's books. I just simply don't have the time because there's so many people. Mm-hmm. But I look at the genres that they write, I look at the blurbs for the books, I look at the covers, I look at their websites and their social media, and I try and pick things that I think that stand out as something that they care about, or something that is focused on their identity as a writer or as a person. And then I sort of shape those questions around that. It takes me a little while, but I feel like it's better than just giving everyone the same questions. And then I've given everyone an optional prompt. So I just pull one out of my arse. Not literally, of course. Figuratively pulling them out of my butt. I haven't got stuffed pieces of paper. That's not where prompts come from. The freakiest fortune cookie ever. Where I basically just said, like, if you want to use this prompt, this is a way for you to flex your writing chops. And then anyway, so I'll be publishing those once a day, excluding Wednesdays, Saturdays and Sundays, just so that it's the only thing I'm talking about really on that day, to give people a chance to be seen a bit easier. So the spotlights come out on Wednesdays. Nobody really uses social media at the weekends in terms of data. So in order to give everybody the same or similar chance of their interview being seen, I publish them on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays at 9 a.m. And then that sort of sits and updates automatically on the front page. So yeah, it's been fun reading everybody's answers actually. So that's been nice. I did a bit of writing. Worked my book. I worked out a big plot hole. By plot hole, nice. I mean gaping chasm where I wasn't sure what the fuck I was going to do. Nice. Which has been cool. And I self-edited the first 3 chapters because I just wasn't happy with how they flowed. And they do read they read way better now.
Oh, nice.
They're a lot more... I found I did a lot of, and I'm sure you'll probably agree with me, a lot of like filler sentences. Mm-hmm. Where I was kind of like just labouring a point. And I feel like the more I read of other people's work, I'm seeing that the things I enjoy more don't have that, like, way of, like, stumbling through a sentence that I tend to do. So I just tried to polish it up a little bit. And, yeah, figured out a really good point to sort of bridge the gap between where I've sort of got stuck on and the end, which is really nice. And I think it's going to really, really work. And I also have figured out what I want the cover to be, which has excited me, and that was the thing that fueled me to actually continue writing. Nice. Because I was like, I have to see this cover. I want to see the cover now. But I can't do that without the book being finished. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the interviews are optional. You mean you're not knocking on people's doors and demanding that they answer your questions?
That would be so fucking weird of me. I can't do that. This whole thing that I've done, I've gone, let me know if you guys want this, I'm over here, and then that's that. I don't prompt anyone for anything, because I very rarely even chase people for information. And I try and tend to say there is no deadline on whatever the thing is, unless it's for like a spotlight or a podcast interview or whatever. And if you don't want to do it, that's up to you. I'm not gonna spend my time chasing you to do something that you're not interested in enough to do, or that you don't have the time to do, because people have other things going on.
Yeah.
So
no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted to make a joke about it because you just have so much enthusiasm.
Oh,
and it's just really nice.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a ride. I also ordered a bunch of books.
Nice.
It's thrilling, except all of them came damaged and it pissed me off a little bit.
Oh no.
But anyway, so that was very exciting. I got lots of books in the post. I'm very excited. Some of them are fucking massive. I didn't think they were going to be that big, and they are huge. So I'll be taking them on a plane with me when I go to England next month. Although I think I'll be in England when this goes live. So I may have read them all. Oh, that's weird. I'm jumping.
That is weird.
Oh, I've just used up all my energy.
So, what book are we talking about this time? Because we don't record every week.
This time, we have recently read the book Never by Ashley Capes. So this is a prequel to the first book in the Never Chronicles. No, the Never series? The series of Never? The Book of Never series. I'm going to say that again. This is
the Amber Isle.
Yes, so this is a
prequel to the Amber Isle.
Thank you. Which is the first book in the Book of Never series. So this was interesting to me because it's the first time, I'm sure it's not the first time that anyone's ever done it, but it's the first time that I've seen a fantasy series that are in novella form, which I appreciate for somebody who's got a very short attention span. And this was a teeny tiny prequel. So it's very small.
Yeah, it was very small. But, like, not in a bad way. Not in a, like, it's so small and we dislike it because it's too small kind of way. In a, like, oh, that's a bite-sized bit of wonderful.
Oh, 100%. And this is the thing, because it's, I think comparatively, if I was going to read, like, a horror book or a horror story, that's quite, like, that can be long. 50-something pages. But for fantasy, I found that very surprising. When you first suggested to read this particular book, I was like, oh, fantasy! But it was short, and I was like, I can read that! And it's never, I never mean to, like, make fantasy sound boring, because it's not. I just have a shit brain, and that's a me problem. And I love that it exists. I love fantasy films. Like, get me caught up in that alternate reality goodness. Books, however, my eyes wander. Like a cheating husband. I start looking elsewhere for something exciting because I find it really difficult. But this, however, was very much action-packed and there was a lot going on. It didn't seem to miss a beat for something to think about, which was really cool.
And I totally understand what you're talking about with fantasy. Sometimes it can just be flat boring because the world building just becomes a whole big thing. And the that didn't happen with this guy, and I really enjoy that a lot when the world building is not center. It's just like, here's some stuff that you need to know in order to understand what's going on, and I'm just going to drop it here and here and here, and it's just a thing, and we don't have to talk about it, and it's fine. Exposition is what I'm talking about, when it's handled really nicely, like it's a treat rather than homework.
Yes,
it's wonderful.
Absolutely. Yes. And like it's got the same characteristics of like names that I can't necessarily pronounce very well, but I get around that by just making up my own names. And that, again, that's not a dig, that's just me. If they're not like Jodie or something, I find it really hard to remember that that's the character that I'm supposed to remember. My brain problem, not the writer's problem. But other than that, it was very playful, I found. And even though there were some really dark, quite visceral moments, it was still fun. And in that short space of time, Ashley has managed to make me love characters, and that is not easy to do with a curmudgeon like myself.
I'm really easy, but like I typically require a longer investment before I can really love somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But I was instantly just enamored with Never.
Oh,
He's wonderful. He's a rogue's rogue, you know, like as a man's man. He's got all of the qualities of a rogue. He's snarky.
mm-hmm.
He's snarky. He's really skillful.
Mm-hmm.
He's competent. He's snarky.
And troubled, but not an arsehole
Troubled.
about it, which I like.
Yes.
He's very
Absolutely.
much like, well, I've got to get on with this thing because I've got to find, my true identity. And I guess this is just where I'm going now. And it was just very much like, oh, okay, I've got to do this fucking quest. Let me just get on with it and do it. And then as each, roadblock came into play, he was like, right, I guess I'm getting inside a box and sneaking inside the ground. And I was like, yeah, go on. Spoiler alert, that's delayed.
Yeah.
Things happen in the book. We're going to talk about them. But no, I agree. I think we had a very, very short exchange as we were both sort of initially reading this. And yeah, I really like the fact that he's, as you said, like sassy and snarky, and he's got a good sense of humour, and he's just kind of getting on with it and not being whiny. He's not like, I can't find my identity. He's like, well, let me find this fucking map, because that's where I need to be getting on to now. And as far as I'm aware, this is like the setup for his journey to the Amber Isle, so that okay, like how did he find out where to go to get this information?
Okay.
Just looking at the blurb for the Amber Isle, it looks like he's like on the way and he's going to go do stuff on the Isle now.
Fantastic. Love that for him.
Yeah. So it seems to set that up quite well. It might be challenging in terms of like an order to read things in. We are introduced to like races and types of people, languages, for example, that are just sort of presented to the reader, and because you don't have any context necessarily of what they like look like or sound like or who they are within this realm, I found that a little bit challenging. But I think if you like read them all in quick succession, it would all kind of make sense a bit better. Or maybe like read the actual series and then came back to the prequel. That might work as well.
I didn't mind that so much. That's kind of what I was talking about. The exposition wasn't really belabored, it was just like the narrator, which is Never, I think, like it's not narrated in first person, but it's pretty exclusively, we don't do any head hopping, so we're sticking with Never. And he was just like taking things for granted, he was just saying this thing was happening, and like he was talking to somebody who's already in the know. And that's, I don't want to say that it's the most graceful way to deal with exposition, but like it's the most seamless.
It was clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't like muddy. I wasn't like, what the hell is happening now? It was just more like, okay, I've been introduced to them, but it's like, for you to understand, let's say, for example, these other groups of people better, then you would want to read the rest of the series to just get an idea of like how important they are and why are they invading. Was it a manor or a castle?
I think it was a castle. Maybe they called it a palace.
Possibly.
Okay.
But yeah, when...
It was a big house.
Huge. It had grounds and everything. And guards and stuff. And a prison. So when that was invaded, I was like, who the fuck are these guys? But I guess it was like, they're the bad guys. And that was all we really needed to know to get the story. So I don't think it hindered the story at all. Like I still enjoyed it very much.
Okay.
What was your favourite part of this book?
Oh, man. I don't want to say, I liked all of it and just be a lame ass, but...
You can be a lame ass if you want.
Okay. I laughed so many times. Like, it just... The snark. Mwah! I love it. But I actually did write down a couple of things that I enjoyed in particular.
Okay.
the line, "Not a king's ransom, but better than a crossbow bolt to the face." Like, yes, absolutely. A single gold coin is much better than a crossbow bolt to the face. Love that. Bad guy says, "You're finished." Never says, "Good to know." And is just not at all worried about it. Love that for him. And those were probably my two favorite, like, little tiny bits. But, you know, microscopic moments.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I did like.
What about you?
I did like the way that Never interacts with the people around him, because he's just kind of like a bit of a loner, but is also like, all right, bud, I'm gonna need you to help me. And they're like, oh, you again. And then he's like, look, I don't give a shit about this stuff. Just stuff me in this box and shove me through that hole. Like, it's just
yes,
he's just
lovable
kind of getting
scoundrel.
on with it. Yeah, and you can tell, like, from what I can tell, he only pisses off the bad guys.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I did absolutely love, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Tamilo's character. Very minor, but also so cute. Just a little jester guy.
Yeah, like, all of the characters seemed kind of minor in comparison. Like, you could tell that the story was about Never, and everybody else was just kind of like, you know, there to facilitate the story.
I mean, he is,
but like not in a bad way. Not in that they didn't seem like fully fledged characters so much as like they weren't the focus of the thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I mean, I loved the fact that he had a little puppet. He kept his pocket. I was like, oh, that's so cute. Oh.
I loved that the bullies didn't even get names. They were just Cow and Rat.
Yes!
I love
that so much. It was so good. It was so good. I just love that this grown-ass man beat up a bunch of kids.
Right?
I was like, yeah! That was so good.
They were being dicks, though. They totally deserved it.
Oh, 100%. I am not worried about people beating up kids when they're being shitbags.
Oh my god. That's terrible. We can't say that.
In books.
Okay, all right, in books.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know that I'd feel the same about real life, but this is fantasy, so it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. You watch totally that fine. Get taken out of context, and I'm cancelled. They shouldn't be shitbags. That's the point.
Yeah, exactly.
So this sort of quest that he's going on is a quest for him to basically find out why he has this curse on him and what his true name is, which makes sense because I would be like, why is that my name?
Who would name their child Never?
Don't know. Ashley. This is basically his child.
Okay, that's fair.
But yeah, so I think what I liked the most was the unexpected visceral description of what happened with his blood curse.
Oh my god, yes.
Because I was like, epic. Oh, this is playful, and like, oh, okay, that's very nice.
No,
it was sassy, and I was like, fucking hell! Like, it took me by surprise, and I really enjoyed that.
Yes.
I saw a review. And this isn't a bad thing. It just goes to show how different everybody is. Because as I've said before, I love extreme horror books. I love horror books. I like thrillers. I like things that are really visceral. So I'm very pleased when that shows up as part of a storyline. And I think it was tastefully done because it was necessary. It's like he shows his struggle with, I don't want this curse to be used because I don't like how it makes me feel, and it's awful. I don't like it. He's not like, well, I may as well use this to murder everybody. Right. And the description and choice of this type of curse, how he reacts to it, and how it affects the other person, it shows you why he doesn't like it. And it shows you why he's like, I don't want this curse on me anymore. Because part of his whole thing is that he's trying to rid himself of this curse, find his true identity. And I've said that before, but that's like the whole mission. And it's in the blurb of the Amber Isle as well, so this isn't like a major spoiler.
It's not a spoiler, yeah.
So I just found that interesting, because if he was like a bad dude, he'd just be like slitting his wrists all the time and attacking people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure.
But he's like, please don't, I don't want to get a paper cut. because it will be bad for everybody in the room.
Right.
And it was fascinating. I thought it was really cool. But a review that I read said that it was far too violent. And I thought it was really interesting because it wasn't.
No.
In the grand scheme of books with battle scenes in them, it wasn't. But I think the description of things to do with like blood and cutting things and like it's not even body horror. It's just, you know, just like squishy,
just the horror
gross
of
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think can be so uncomfortable for people that they can't unread that thing, and then when anything else violent comes up, it feels just as bad. That's just my assumption. So if you go into this thinking that it's going to be this horrendously violent book, it's not. But it just depends on your tastes, and it is done with purpose and is written very well, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah. I wouldn't say that it's like exceptionally violent.
No.
In like, you know, gory, bloody, horrible descriptions of actual action, but the visceral quality of the emotion surrounding it is absolutely there. And you're right, absolutely. This character is tortured about this thing without letting it ruin him. You know, like he has just this really profound sense of hopelessness even, but he doesn't let that destroy him. He's optimistic about his hopelessness.
Absolutely.
And I just love that. I think it's I don't know, I don't want to say it's like really relevant right now, but it just I relate to that really hard.
Okay. That's cool. I mean, part of the love of being able to explore a fictional world is to see yourself mirrored in one of the characters, because then that allows you to experience it on a deeper level, and that's really, really cool. I think I'd be interested to know how his character develops over time, and how many times he, you know, gets knocked back, or, you know, how it impacts him, and I'd want to know. I don't know, like, that's got to affect personal relationships that he's obviously not going to allow himself to have, and he seems to be very caring over people that are vulnerable, but he doesn't get very close to them. He just wants them to be okay, and then kind of like leaves. And I wonder if that's him like distancing himself, because
for sure.
Yeah, I can hear you getting all like, that's the sound I make when I see a dog. I'm like,
yes. Yes. He's cute soft boy, want to cuddle.
Do you know what? When I was reading this, I was like, Sora's gonna love this guy.
Yes, I love him so much.
Oh my god, maybe he could make a guest appearance in your book.
Don't give me ideas.
That's a great idea.
I don't need to expand my cast. It is already so big.
I'm just saying. If Ashley is listening to this.
That's a great idea. I would want to get permission, though. Like, from a real human being, you know what I mean? That I could actually talk to. Like, I can't talk to fucking the people who write other stuff that I'm using. Why can't I think of names? I can't talk to Anne Rice. I can't talk to fucking Joss Whedon. But I could talk to Ashley. What's his last name? Capes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could talk to Ashley Capes, right?
Yeah, I bet
he'd DM on Twitter.
I will say, it says on his Goodreads that you can ask him any questions about his books, and he'd love to.
Oh, fuck them. Yeah. Love that.
Yeah. I'm so sure he's on a Discord group that you were in as well.
Okay.
We'll find out. We'll make that happen. Ashley, if you're listening to this, I hope that we are doing your book advertising justice, because we both really enjoyed it.
Yes.
And I definitely think that the way that this is written, and the characters that we're presented with at this point, and the lack of frippery, that's a compliment, within this writing of Ashley's, makes me want to read more about it, which is not the same for most fantasy things. And again, it's the time sink. Like, if it's over like 350, 400 pages, I really have to think about it. Like, do I want to spend all my time doing this? And I would love to know more about this character. And that is a very, very good advert for the rest of the series. So, well done, Ashley. You legend.
Good job.
Yeah.
And thank you, because, you know, this was a lot of effort, obviously.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's a prolific writer. He's got loads of stuff out, like poetry and novels and all sorts of stuff. So, I
wasn't expecting to see like a fucking 9-book series just attached to this one thing, and then there's other stuff too. I was shocked.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, on his when I was creating his feature for Idiosyncrasy, I was very impressed with his back catalogue, and I think I'm just going to double check actually because my memory's terrible. It's full of ill feelings. So he used to teach English, which is very apparent to me because it is, in my opinion, it's very polished. I'm no authority on the matter, but I believe that it is a very polished piece of work, and it's very well structured as well.
Yes, I agree. I have never taught English, but I read a lot and I write some stuff, so I know some things about stuff.
Good one.
Thanks. I have no credibility, but, you know, my opinion, have it. There you go.
I'm actually quite interested to read his book, The Fairy Wren, because it sounds again like a bit more on the dark side. And having had like this taste of his writing, I'm like, okay, this actually might be another thing I might be interested in. That's kind of one of the exciting things about doing stuff like this and exploring writers from genres that you don't really necessarily sort of lean toward reading, is that you could be like, let me just have a little taste, and then if you're like, well, that's delicious, there's more usually, and if you're like, I don't like that, then you could just never talk about it again. Nobody will know, and it's fine.
Yes.
But I'm happy to talk about this one.
Yeah.
There was one element that I'd love to know your opinion on, because I remembered you saying the first episode that we did of this show, recorded of this show, was that you like there being a romantic subplot in the work that you read. And there is the Lord's daughter. Her name fails me. I wrote it down, but I can't read my handwriting. Who
I think it's Julessa.
That sounds very right. There was a J in this scribble that I did, and I'm so sorry, Ashley. It's nothing to do with you and your writing. It's me. I've had a virus, and it's in my brain now.
Okay, so her name is spelled Julesa. Okay. I saw that as Julesa at first, but I was like, no, that doesn't sound like a name. Let's try something different. Julessa? Okay, that sounds like it could work. All right. And then she was Julessa from that point on.
We'll go with that. And Ashley, if you're listening to this, can you tell us how it's pronounced?
Please correct us. I don't like butchering people's names.
No, it makes me feel uncomfortable. Anyway, there is this like very, 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 very small mention of a Romeo and Juliet style romance that is like part of this whole ruse, which is again so like, it's just kind of slipped in there, but you're like, of course that's why she did that.
Of course, yeah.
And then we don't hear any more about that. Would you have wanted to have known more about their story?
Oh my god, I'm dying to know everything about their story. And now I fear we never will. But it's fine.
Maybe we could ask. We could ask the lovely author himself and say, just let us know.
We could do that.
Yeah.
No, I immediately clocked her as the romantic interest. I was like, oh, yep, that's exactly what's going on. I know this is just so predictable. And then I was shocked at what happened. Just absolutely fucking floored. I was like, how dare you do that? How dare you? The audacity.
Did you have the vapors?
I'm not sure what those are, but probably.
Oh, Christ. The
audacity.
Are going to threaten the author now? Is that what's happening?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I love being surprised like that. I love when, like, expectations are not just, like, not followed, not adhered to.
Mm-hmm.
They're, like, actually flipped on their heads. You know, I'm subverted. That's the word. I love when expectations are subverted. And you get the opposite of exactly what you were looking for. Mwah, love it.
Do you find that with the way that your brain works, that you basically, like, write the ending before you're even halfway through? Because you're like, oh, I know how this is going to go.
No, what are you talking about? Yes, that's exactly how that goes. I write other people's stories for them as I'm reading them, and then I am either disappointed or not at all shocked or completely flabbergasted.
Oh.
That's just how that works.
Okay, so instead of new business idea, Goodreads, but instead of that, it's going to be Sora reads, and it's going to be that as a scale.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, what is the scale? Like, meets expectations,
Yep.
exceeds expectations, fucks expectations?
Maybe, like, saw it coming. What the fuck was that? Oh my god, I loved it.
But I could love it even if it's like, what the fuck was that? I have that capacity.
But you can. It's not going to be like radio buttons. It's a checkbox. You can check every single one of them if you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because as I've said before, I think star ratings are fucking nonsense. They're nonsense. They make me so angry because it's so arbitrary, and that they can destroy somebody's book's reputation because it got to the wrong audience. And I just don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is the answer. Extreme emotional opinion buttons. Oh, and an additional
that actually have value other than numerical. Because, like, what is a numerical value of 1 to 5? Like, what does that even mean? You know, I totally agree. The star system is completely fucked.
I think also, like, there are so many people who they review books. Like, I'm not dogging on people that review books because it's so necessary, and I think it is important to give a genuine review and to, you know, give your opinion if you want to, and that's cool. And I think reviews are very valuable if they have, like, actual content to them. But just like randomly casting out 1-star reviews and saying this was shit, it's not true. You didn't like it. There should be like a secret third option that's like, this was not for me. Not my kind of book. Should be the tick, and then you're not allowed to enter any comments.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Or just like the changing the expectation to not leaving a 1-star review. Just like give it 5 stars anyway, just because it's good. You just didn't like it personally, and then you note that I just did not like this. This was not for me. So I cannot give an unbiased opinion to people who would like it about it.
Something that I've seen that's happening a lot recently is that because the quality of, like, the printed product that comes from the large company that most people sell their books through, is that because the quality of the printing is bad, or, like, the packaging's bad, it arrives screwed, and then people will rate the book and go, like, 1 star, it came bent, or
oh my god,
battered. I'm like, that's not what you're voting on.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
It has, like, a direct impact on people's actual livelihoods, so please don't do that.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. Just send a complaint to Amazon.
Right, exactly. Just complain to the actual customer service, which is the people that you are actually mad at, not the author trying to make a living being insane.
Yes.
Basically. Yes. I totally agree with your assessment. We are all a little bit possessed.
Yes.
And yeah, like, how did my husband put it? I don't remember, but it was, we're all a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. We are harassed by people, by imaginary people.
Yeah.
Who demand a voice. That's how it is.
It's just the life of a creative, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's this state of never being quite satisfied because there's always someone knocking at the door, which is weird.
Can you imagine if there were actually people always knocking at the door? Can you imagine if our characters actually like followed us around physically, like they manifested and they were talking to us and they could like throw things at us?
Mine would, because
mine absolutely would. They just throw popcorn at me constantly. Like, what are you doing?
I don't think I could handle that.
No,
and I think I'd meet my swift end.
I am avoiding engaging with your judgment right now, sir. That is what I am doing.
I wonder if you could get around that by just writing their ending. Oh no, you fell down a well. Oh dear.
Oh Jesus.
Oh god. Anyway, so long story short, Never was a very good book. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Go read it now, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's more like short story short. Short.
I don't know if that's copyrighted.
Probably not. I don't know.
Oh, I'm not the queen of laws.
Queen of laws.
I think the queen of laws is the president, isn't it? Oh dear. Bless her. Anyway.
We knew this was going to be particularly unhinged, but I did not know just how particular it would be.
I don't think it's any worse than any other episode we've done.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's totally fair.
Yeah. I've noticed that when you or I get a little bit like, ooh, our voices get a bit higher. So, like, the more high-pitched we are, the more, like, weird it gets. Oh, dear. So, a good indicator. I think that there must be a way of me checking, like, the audio leveling, just to see, comparatively, episode to episode, how many high-pitched moments we have.
So, short story short, you should read
Never
by Ashley Capes.
Ashley Capes, who, whenever I read his name in my head, I sing it in the tune of Frank Zappa's Baby Snakes.
I was literally about to ask you about that. How does that go? I don't know what that is.
It's like... the song is like, Baby Snakes, but I sing his name.
Okay,
so it's like, Ashley Capes. I'm not a singer, obviously. But that is almost exactly how it sounds.
How did that come about? Was it just like, that's how you read it the first time and it stuck? Or...
Okay, let me give you a little bit of insight into the inside of my brain.
Okay.
Beware.
Alright, no, that's what I'm here for. Let's do it.
So, one of the reasons why I find reading things like fantasy so difficult is that when I read words, if they have the same name as a song or a popular line from a song that gets stuck in my head very often, I just start playing that song in my head. And it usually has to be the right word, but sometimes it just has to have the same cadence. So Baby Snakes, Ashley Capes, very similar. So that's why that happened. Was that my brain went, that's similar, let's have a little go at that, and then just kept doing it, and now I cannot read his name without singing it in my head. So, like, when I'm reading, let's say, for example, there's a horrible song that I do not like, and it's called Wires, and it makes me cry. But whenever I read the word wires, it then starts playing in my head, and I can't stop it, and then it gets louder than my inner monologue that I'm reading in. And then I have to stop and sing... the Carter Vale song Dirt Man in my head to cheer myself up, and then I can start reading again.
So I have a playlist on Spotify.
Okay.
That is called Earworms.
Uh-huh.
It is 35 hours and 38 minutes long. And it is me documenting that exact process in my brain.
Stop it.
Nope. I cannot. It is true.
Are we related?
In that regard, yes, obviously.
Okay, that's cool. Oh.
How many songs are on this thing. Okay. 587 items.
Oh, wow.
Yes. There are. I haven't been able to capture literally every song that has ever popped into my head since I started doing this in like 2018, I think it was. When did I start doing this? 2019. Early 2019. I haven't been able to capture every single song because some of them are not on Spotify. But it's pretty damn close. And some of them are like podcast episodes because they're like from like Has Been Hotel or something, I think.
Okay.
A couple of them, or I don't know. Not Has Been Hotel.
So does it interrupt your reading?
It interrupts everything, and it's like it doesn't even really interrupt things. It just becomes the background. It's the soundtrack of my life.
Oh God, we're so similar. I'm so sorry. There is a reason why I had a dream about this podcast happening.
Yep.
That's so funny. Maybe I should start a playlist. Some of them I don't care for.
I encourage everyone who has this problem, who experiences this phenomenon, to start an Earworms playlist. And anytime a song randomly gets stuck in your head, fucking put it on a playlist. I want to see that shit.
Honestly, a lot of the time it's just the thong song by Sisquo.
Oh my god!
It's such a good song. There's just something about the way that he's singing about that thong. You know he cares, man. He loves that thong. There's this bit where he like just belts his heart out, and I just think, oh babe, you really care about that, and I care about that too. And then I sing it, and I get a bit emotional.
What?
You listen to that when we stop this recording, and you tell me that you don't know which bit I'm talking about by the end of it.
I haven't listened to the thong song in like I don't know how many years. It's been a very long time.
It was on my wedding playlist.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Although I did walk down the aisle to the Jurassic Park theme.
What the fuck?
Which was epic. Oh god. But anyway, yeah, so that's a thing. It's on my playlist.
Yeah, that's a thing.
It's on my playlist, and the playlist is called Fuck Yeah, because it's got songs on it where I go, the rule is, if I imagine that it comes on a radio or like on a, you know, when you're at the mall or whatever, and the song comes on, you're like, oh great, I'm so glad that that's there. Fuck yeah, that song's on. That's when it goes on the playlist.
Okay.
Yeah.
I make too many playlists. I have hundreds of playlists.
That's no such thing. There's not too many.
Okay.
It's the right one for the right mood.
Yeah.
There's this. I've got playlists for different seasons, different situations. I have playlists that are like safer for having family over or having kids around because some of them are a bit weird. I have the playlist. I've got a playlist where the music is like acceptable, where I'm gonna like all the songs, but they're not weird enough that people that don't like the kind of music that I like won't be mean to me because I like it.
That's a very specific type of playlist.
It upsets me when people say that the music that I'm listening to is weird. Because I'm like, fuck you, you're weird, shut up. Like, I get like unreasonably angry about it.
There's no such thing as listening to weird music. Like, what are they talking about? Weird music? What?
Well, they like country and western, so I can't do much for them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the one genre that I won't give another chance.
That sounds like you were betrayed by country and western.
I was. It was supposed to be palatable, and it is not.
Oh, I'm not gonna say I'm like it's bad. I just can't. I can't get on board with it.
I can't do it. Like, I have no problem with other people liking country music.
Mm-hmm.
I just cannot do that with them. They have to do that by themselves, way over there where I cannot hear them. I
thought that it was more cheerful than it is, and it's not. And I remember going to this bar. It was last year, I think. It's like the only bar in the area where you can smoke indoors, and I was smoking at the time. My best friend came to visit and she smokes, and I was like, I know of this bar, we can smoke indoors, it'll be just like the old days. And she was like, yeah. So went to this, she was like, let's have a good time, let's go to the bar, let's have some drinks. Atmosphere, sticky, hazy, miserable, and then this like country and western like love song, oh my gosh, I'm gonna shoot my baby with my fist or whatever, music came on, and she was sat there, and I've never seen such a vacant stare. She looked at the seltzers in the back of the bar, and I was like, do you want to go? And then she was just smoking very slowly. She was like, I'm just going to ride this one out. This has been fun. It's good that we've been able to, like every other episode, just sort of have a talk about our creativity and then give other writers a chance to be spoken about, because it is hard for self-published authors that publish through indie presses, people that, publish short stories and poetry and things like that. It is virtually impossible for people to be seen. So I do think that this is doing something in terms of hoping to bridge that gap between, what am I supposed to read now, to here's someone you've never heard of, maybe give them a chance.
Yes, I think so too. And, between booked and strangers in fiction and idiosyncrasy, you're making a lot of noise. And that's the whole thing. 100%. It's the whole thing. It's making a lot of noise. Yep. And eventually people will not be able to help hearing it. And then more people will get excited about it, and it'll be great.
I think so. And I wouldn't do this if it was for me. So I am grateful to be able to have the opportunity to do this, and it's really cool that you are a part of it in this way, that we can sort of talk about these things, because it's nice to be able to sort of bounce ideas off of people, and to actually have discussions with somebody who also likes to read and that has a very similar worldview to yourself, but also a completely different taste in books. So it just goes to show the diversity that is in the consumption of any creative media, and it's just cool. But it means that there's something out there for everybody, and we'll find it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll find it for ourselves, and we'll help other people find it too.
Heck cool. Yeah. I said heck yeah. I will. Heck yeah. It's like some sort of hellish egg. Well, guess I'm gonna make it a t-shirt.
But it's good because it's heck yeah, not heck no. So
that's the spirit.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
It's a hellish egg, but it's good.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Stay tuned for next fortnight's episode. When we forget that we've had this conversation and we never mention it again.
We won't forget that we had this conversation. It will be immortalized. It will be memorialized. It will last forever on the internet.
Maybe a tote bag.
I would totally wear that t-shirt. Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. Oh, amazing. It has to be spelled with 2 G's, otherwise nobody's going to get the egg reference.
Yes, and there has to be an illustration of an egg, and it has to be a really cute egg, but it has to obviously be demonic somehow.
Yeah, maybe like a cheeky little green or something. I'm thinking, right, an egg with tiny feet, no arms, and a really small face. I love things with tiny faces on them.
Yes.
Like, with very little detail, like two little dots for eyes and a little smile. Just like, just a tiny little face.
Super kawaii.
Yes.
Yes. Nice. Kawaii demon egg.
There you go.
I did not know I needed that in my life, but I do.
I'm really glad that this has been that supplement for you.
Oh my god.
I think that's a cue for us to start winding this down.
I think so. I think we might have missed a few cues and we're just finally picking up on it now.
Just like real life.
Okay.
Which one of us is going to slap our knees and go, whoop?
I mean, you can do it.
I don't want to do that. I don't think either of
Okay.
us should. I feel like that would
No.
be better with a video. And it's
Yeah.
just going to be a really grating slapping noise and then a horrible sound. But yeah, at some point, we'll close this episode off, and that's going to be right now. Thank you so much for... If you reached this point and you're still having a good time, bravo. Welcome to the Hegel. What the fuck? Welcome to Egg Hell.
I can't.
I told you I'd forget what we were talking about.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. I'm scared. I need an adult.
Heck yeah, but I said Egg Hell.
Oh my god. Okay. What the fuck is the sign off? I wrote it. I don't know.
Thank you for joining us for an episode of Egg Hell.
Thank you for joining us for this weird episode of Strangers in Fiction. Be sure to subscribe and click all the buttons and stuff, and stay tuned for more unhinged talk about the unreal on the regular.
And that's when I'll fade in the music.